Your sister doesn't deserve a dime. She's out. That's what I heard my father say when I stood outside his study, frozen, listening as my family calmly decided to erase me from existence. What they didn't know was that Grandma had left me more than an inheritance. She left me a plan. And by the time I was done, I wouldn't just take back my place in the family, I would take everything they tried to steal. If you've ever been underestimated, pushed aside, or erased by the people who are supposed to love you, this story is for you. Hit subscribe, smash that like button, and tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Because this is one of those stories where justice isn't just served, it's beautifully delivered. Let's dive in. My name is Katie. I was 32 when I realized my own family had been rehearsing my disappearance for years. It didn't start with money. It started smaller. My name missing from the family group text about Thanksgiving. A family photo cropped just before my shoulder. A toast at dinner where my sister Alina raised her glass to family, and her eyes skipped right over me. At first, I told myself it was grief. Grandma had passed recently, and people get strange after loss. Maybe I reminded them too much of her. Maybe I'd become a ghost in my own house. I even apologized once, out loud, for being a lot lately. No one corrected me. Looking back, I see it clearly. It wasn't grief. It was rehearsal. A slow, methodical erasure. One polite omission at a time. And then came the night I heard my father say the words, "Your sister doesn't deserve a dime." Alina was always the favorite. Not because she asked for it, she just knew how to wear it. She leaned in when Mom, Diane, talked about legacy. She picked up Dad's business tone before she ever had a job. She was the one introduced at events, the one seated next to the will. And me? I was useful. Quietly, invisibly useful. I helped Grandma balance her books when the tremors in her hands made it too hard. I wrote the thank you notes Diane couldn't be bothered with. I held things together so they could pretend nothing was falling apart. I told myself being good would be enough. But in this family, being good only made you disposable. That night, standing in the hallway, I didn't cry. I didn't storm in. Instead, I walked upstairs, opened my laptop, and in minutes transferred everything I owned into a private account they didn't even know existed. Because what they didn't know was that I had suspected something for weeks. The estate paperwork that never made it to my inbox. The sudden shift in tone. The skipped invitations. And what they really didn't know. I knew about Grandma's second trust. The one they pretended never existed. The one that matured just 2 weeks ago. I unlocked the top drawer of my dresser. Beneath some scarves and an old photo, I found the slip of paper Grandma had left for me. Her handwriting, sharp and deliberate. One name on it, mine. It led me to the hidden drawer of her sewing desk. Inside were 3 things. 1, a legal envelope. An amendment to her will, signed, notarized, and witnessed just 1 month before she passed. My name was the only one on it. 2, a voice recorder. I pressed play. Her voice filled the room. "If they try to twist this, Katie, you show them this tape. I trust you. Only you." 3, a handwritten note. 4 lines. "Blood doesn't make them worthy. If you're reading this, they've already turned on you. Take what's yours. Don't look back." My chest tightened, not with grief, but with recognition. She had seen them for what they were long before I did. And she had armed me for this exact moment. The next morning, I walked into the kitchen. Dad was flipping through spreadsheets. Alina perched at the island, legs crossed like she had already won. Diane stirred oatmeal, humming like we were just another happy family. None of them looked up when I entered. I laid the manila envelope on the counter. Alina's eyes narrowed. "What's this?" Dad muttered. "We're in the middle of something, Katie. Could this wait?" "No," I said, and I slid the envelope closer. When they opened it and saw the amendment, the notary seal, the signatures, Alina lunged to grab it. I blocked her hand. "Don't," I said, my voice steady. "You already knew what you were doing. You don't get to act surprised now." The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was hollow, like the roof had just been ripped off their lies. And I hadn't even pressed play on the recorder yet. Diane's voice shook with anger. This isn't what your grandmother intended. You're right, I said. She intended honesty. She left that to me. Alina snapped. You're turning her death into a stage. You've always hated being in the background. I leaned forward. You mistook silence for obedience. That was your mistake. Then I pressed play. Grandma's voice filled the kitchen. If they try to twist this, Katie, you show them this tape. I trust you. Only you. When it ended, no one spoke. I calmly placed another envelope on the counter, an injunction freezing the estate until review. Dad's face reddened. You're dismantling this family. No, I said. I'm refusing to let it dismantle me. And I walked out. By that afternoon, I wasn't just defending myself. I was taking control. At Maddox and Langley, my grandmother's firm, I laid the paperwork on the boardroom table. 51% controlling interest, assigned to me. Alina was already there, arms crossed. This is a stunt. No, I said, sliding into the head chair. This is succession. Then I handed out forensic reports, 6 years of financial rot they had buried. Fake vendors, offshore accounts, corporate funds disguised as client entertainment. They had cut me out, thinking I was the weak link. But I wasn't the liability. I was the reckoning. Weeks later, it all came to light in court. Alina tried to frame it as protecting the family legacy. Diane claimed she kept the family together. I let them talk. Then I stood and told the truth. Erasing someone isn't protection. It's cowardice dressed in silk. I wasn't unstable. I wasn't dramatic. I was inconvenient to their version of the story, and I'm here to set it straight. The judge ruled. The amended will stands. Full control of the estate to me. Diane stripped of all fiduciary power. Alina and Dad's misuse of funds, referred for criminal review. I didn't smile. I didn't cry. I just breathed. Later, at Grandma's lake house, I sat in her reading chair with her journal in my lap. One line stood out. Truth doesn't scream. It stands. They had tried to bury me. They gave me the shovel. But instead of digging a grave, I planted something new. And for the first time, I realized I wasn't erased. I was rewritten. Sometimes revenge isn't about shouting or burning bridges. It's about standing when they expect you to stay small. It's about choosing clarity over chaos, truth over silence. And sometimes, the sweetest revenge is simply refusing to disappear. If you felt the satisfaction of Katie's revenge, hit like and subscribe for more stories where justice doesn't whisper, it roars. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed? I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, stay strong and never underestimate the power of truth.